In the immense frost-bitten expanse of western Alaska, where the land is shaped by relentless cold and the silence is broken only by the wind, something unusual has begun to stir. Amidst the endless white subtle disturbances have appeared, signs that defy the expectations of even the most seasoned observers. These are not the marks of the familiar brown bear nor the elusive wolf, but something far more enigmatic, tracks that hint at a presence never before recorded in these northern wilds. Between 2019 and 2023, wildlife researchers have documented at least 7 separate incidents involving the discovery of enormous feline tracks, each one more perplexing than the last. The evidence is fleeting. Tracks quickly erased by wind and snow, sightings reduced to mere glimpses in the half-light of Arctic dawn. In the winter of 2022, along a remote tributary of the Kuskokwim River, a sequence of prints was found, each one broader than a bear's, the stride between them stretching over a meter. The tracks moved with a purposeful, powerful rhythm, suggesting a large, muscular animal adapted to traversing deep snow with ease. No photographs were captured, and the opportunity to cast the prints was lost to the biting cold and relentless wind. The findings were meticulously recorded, yet each report was ultimately filed as unverified, an intriguing anomaly in the official record. These isolated discoveries, scattered across hundreds of miles of wilderness, suggest the presence of a phantom, an animal that should not exist here. Witnesses describe a flash of vibrant orange and black, a pattern utterly foreign to the Alaskan landscape, disappearing into the undergrowth. Occasionally, a silhouette is spotted at dawn, large, unmistakably feline, and gone in an instant. The tracks are compared to those of the native lynx, but the difference in size and stride is undeniable. These prints belong to something far larger. Occasionally, tufts of fur are found, thick, striped, and unlike any known North American species. The Alaskan wilderness, vast and impenetrable, guards its secrets well, but these signs are impossible to ignore. In the shifting light of the Arctic, shapes can deceive, and the mind may conjure wonders from shadows and snow. Yet the sheer scale and clarity of these tracks challenge even the most skeptical minds. The measurements are precise, prints over 6 inches wide, strides exceeding a meter, each detail meticulously documented. For those who know this land intimately, who can read the story written in snow and ice, these signs speak of an animal that does not belong, a visitor from a distant world. The first signs are subtle, but they are there, etched into the wilderness, waiting for those who are willing to look closer. To truly grasp how a tiger might one day be seen in Alaska, we must journey across the vast icy expanse of the Bering Sea to the immense untouched forests of the Russian Far East. Here winter reigns for much of the year, blanketing the land in deep snow and silence. This is the stronghold of the Amur tiger, the largest feline on the planet. With its thick striped coat and immense strength, it is exquisitely adapted to survive in these harsh, frozen forests, moving silently through the undergrowth as both hunter and ghost. For much of the 20th century, the Amur tiger's future was uncertain. Rampant poaching and relentless deforestation decimated their numbers, leaving only a handful of survivors scattered across shrinking patches of wilderness. Yet, against all odds, a remarkable recovery has begun to unfold. Decades of coordinated conservation, anti-poaching patrols, and habitat restoration have breathed new life into these forests, allowing the Amur tiger to reclaim its ancestral domain. In the winter of 2021 and 2022, teams of scientists braved the biting cold to conduct the most comprehensive tiger census in decades, meticulously tracking footprints and setting up remote cameras across hundreds of miles. Their efforts revealed a thriving population. Between 751 and 787 individual tigers now roam these vast territories, a testament to nature's resilience when given a chance. This marks a dramatic increase, over 1.4 times the numbers recorded in the previous major survey, signaling a true resurgence of the species. In certain regions, the rebound is even more pronounced, with some local populations multiplying at an astonishing rate. In the Southwest Primorsky Province, a critical stronghold for the species, tiger numbers have surged by 2 to 2.5 times in just 7 years, a pace of recovery rarely seen among large predators. The forests themselves now bear the signs of this resurgence. Tracks crisscross the snow, and camera traps capture images of multiple tigers sharing the same territory. But as the population grows, the land's carrying capacity, the maximum number of tigers these forests can sustain, is being tested. This boom, while a conservation triumph, brings new ecological challenges. The balance between predator and prey, territory and resources, is shifting. With more tigers vying for space, competition intensifies. Territorial disputes become more frequent, and the search for food grows ever more urgent. The situation is further complicated by a decline in wild boar and other prey species, forcing tigers to range farther and adapt their hunting strategies. As prey becomes scarce in established territories, tigers are compelled to explore new areas, disrupting the natural order and setting the stage for dramatic changes in their distribution. This ripple effect is sending tigers into unfamiliar landscapes, sometimes hundreds of kilometers from their birthplace, as they search for unclaimed territory and sustenance. The evidence of this dispersal is etched into the snow, fresh tracks appearing in places where tigers have not been seen for generations. In the depths of winter, these solitary wanderers push the boundaries of their world, venturing into new territories shaped by the pressures of survival and opportunity. These journeys are not acts of aggression but of necessity. Young tigers in particular are driven by instinct to seek out their own domains, often traveling vast distances through the winter wilderness. In their relentless search for food and territory, tigers are now exploring the very edges of their known range, sometimes venturing into landscapes untouched by their kind for decades. This powerful wave of dispersal is reshaping the future of the Amur tiger, fueling the possibility of extraordinary journeys, perhaps even across the frozen frontiers that separate continents. In the intricate balance of the wild, when a habitat reaches its limits, it is the youngest tigers who are compelled to venture out, driven by necessity and instinct. For the Amur tiger, dispersal is not just a phase, it's a defining rite of passage. As the snow deepens and the forest grows silent, these young cats prepare for a journey that will shape their destiny. Typically between 19 and 28 months old, young males are the first to leave their mother's territory. Alone, they step into the vast unknown, guided only by their senses and the silent call of the wild. Each step is purposeful. They investigate every scent, mark new boundaries, and learn to read the subtle messages left by other animals, an ancient language written in claw marks and scent trails. This period is fraught with danger. Every shadow could conceal a rival, every sound could signal prey or predator. Yet it is also a time of discovery, as the young tiger learns the rhythms and secrets of the wilderness. These solitary wanderers are the vanguard of their species, often venturing beyond the boundaries of known tiger territory, into landscapes untouched by their kind for generations. The distances they cover are astonishing. A young tiger may travel for weeks, crossing rivers, climbing ridges, and traversing endless forests in search of a place to call its own. Thanks to modern technology, scientists can now follow these epic journeys. GPS collars reveal the hidden odysseys of young tigers, mapping their routes across some of the world's most forbidding landscapes. In one remarkable case, a young male was tracked moving 270 kilometers from his birthplace, navigating rivers, forests, and open plains. Yet this is only a glimpse. Each journey is unique, shaped by the landscape, the seasons, and the tiger's own determination. Comprehensive studies suggest that some tigers may travel up to 1,000 kilometers, their paths winding through mountains, across rivers, and into the heart of the wilderness. These are not direct routes, but complex meandering explorations. Tigers must adapt to every challenge: steep cliffs, swift rivers, and dense snow-laden forests, testing their strength and resilience at every turn. For an adult male Amur tiger, survival demands a territory of immense scale. Only the most resourceful can secure and defend such a domain. A single home range can span over 1,380 square kilometers, an expanse larger than many metropolitan areas, filled with challenges and opportunities. To find such unclaimed territory, a young male must remain ever vigilant, always on the move, avoiding established rivals and seeking out the faintest signs of opportunity. This relentless search for space is the engine of the species' expansion, propelling young tigers into new and sometimes perilous frontiers. As populations grow denser in the core regions of Primorsky and Khabarovsk, the pressure mounts, driving these young explorers ever farther, northward and eastward, toward the remote icy reaches of Chukotka. It is this powerful primal urge to seek out new territory that underpins the very possibility of tigers reaching distant lands, even those separated by formidable barriers. The burgeoning population in the Russian Far East is producing a new generation of restless, ambitious males, each one a potential pioneer, ready to test the limits of endurance and adaptability. These young tigers possess not only the physical strength and stamina to traverse punishing terrain, but also the innate curiosity and determination to overcome every obstacle. The journey is grueling. Deep snow, freezing rivers, and endless miles test their limits. Rest is brief, and every moment is a battle for survival. Yet for a young tiger with no territory to claim, the drive to press onward into the unknown, across the wildest frontiers, can be stronger than any hardship, even the daunting prospect of crossing an ocean. Imagine a time when the boundaries between continents were not defined by politics or maps, but by the raw forces of nature. The concept of a land animal making its way from Asia to North America may seem like a relic of the distant past, yet the geography of our planet still holds the remnants of these ancient pathways. When we examine the globe, it becomes clear that Russia and Alaska are not separated by vast oceans, but instead are neighbors, their coastlines reaching toward each other across a narrow expanse. The Bering Strait itself is a slender channel, a mere thread of water and ice that divides the continents. Its currents are powerful, its waters frigid, but its width is surprisingly modest. At its narrowest, the distance between the Chukotka Peninsula in Russia and the Seward Peninsula in Alaska is just 88 kilometers, close enough that, on a clear day, the opposing shores are visible across the icy expanse. For a creature built for endurance and strength such as a tiger or snow leopard, this distance, though formidable, is not beyond the realm of possibility, especially when driven by hunger, instinct, or the search for new territory. The Bering Strait's geography offers more than just a daunting swim. Each winter, the landscape transforms as temperatures plummet and the sea begins to freeze. In the heart of the strait, two islands, Big Diomede, belonging to Russia, and Little Diomede, part of the United States, stand as silent sentinels, separated by only 3.5 kilometers of water and ice. These islands are more than mere landforms. They are stepping stones, breaking the journey into manageable segments and offering rare sanctuaries in the midst of the frozen sea. For any animal attempting the crossing, these islands could provide crucial opportunities to pause, rest, and regain strength before braving the next stretch of ice and water. The island's snow-covered surfaces and rocky shelters could shield a traveler from the relentless Arctic wind, transforming an otherwise impossible journey into a series of grueling but achievable stages. The most critical factor in this natural equation is the ice itself. Each winter, as the mercury drops, the Bering Strait partially freezes, its surface morphing into a shifting patchwork of ice floes and open water. Sheets of pack ice accumulate, driven by wind and current, sometimes linking the islands, and on rare occasions, stretching all the way from one continent to the other. This ice is not a permanent bridge, but a dynamic, ever-changing mosaic, sometimes solid enough to support the weight of a large animal, sometimes treacherous and fragmented by the relentless movement of the sea. The crossing is fraught with danger, shifting ice, sudden storms, and the ever-present threat of breaking through into the freezing depths below. Yet, for a hardy animal adapted to the cold, this seasonal ice offers a fleeting opportunity, a temporary bridge connecting two worlds, open only for a few critical months each year. The convergence of narrow distance, the presence of the Diomede Islands, and the annual formation of sea ice creates a rare but plausible corridor for migration. A dispersing taiga, having journeyed across the vast Siberian wilderness to the edge of the Chukotka Peninsula, would not be confronted by an endless ocean, but by a daunting yet navigable gauntlet of ice and islands. Instead of an impassable barrier, it would see a series of obstacles, each one formidable, but together forming a path that, with enough strength and luck, could be crossed. The journey would demand every ounce of resilience and instinct, but the Bering Strait remains a living testament to the possibility of connection, a natural bridge, fleeting and perilous, yet undeniably real. The Amur tiger stands as a living testament to nature's ingenuity, an apex predator meticulously sculpted by evolution to endure and dominate some of the most frigid, inhospitable regions on Earth. In the snowbound forests of Siberia, survival is a daily challenge. Here, the Amur tiger's remarkable suite of adaptations is not just advantageous, it is essential. Every aspect of its physiology is fine-tuned for life in relentless cold. The same evolutionary traits that allow the Amur tiger to hunt and thrive in Siberia would be indispensable for any tiger venturing into Alaska's equally severe climate, where temperatures can plummet and snow blankets the land for months. The Amur tiger's dense, luxurious coat is its first line of defense. Each hair is longer and thicker than those of its southern relatives, forming a formidable barrier against the biting wind and sub-zero air. This winter coat is composed of two distinct layers, a coarse, water-resistant outer layer that repels snow and moisture, and a dense, woolly underfur that traps heat close to the body. The underfur is so thick and plush that it forms an almost impenetrable layer, insulating the tiger from the harshest winds and preventing precious body heat from escaping. Beneath this formidable coat lies a substantial layer of subcutaneous fat, sometimes reaching up to 5 centimeters thick along the flanks and belly. This fat not only stores energy for lean times, but also acts as a thermal barrier, further shielding vital organs from the cold. When the world outside is frozen, this combination of fur and fat allows the tiger to rest, hunt, and move with confidence, its core temperature unwavering even as the mercury drops. The tiger's ability to conserve heat is further enhanced by its behavior, curling tightly to minimize exposed surface area and using its thick tail as a scarf to protect its face from icy winds. The paws of the Amur tiger are marvels of adaptation. Broad and heavily furred, they act as natural snowshoes, distributing the animal's weight and allowing it to move silently across deep drifts without sinking. The thick leathery pads on the underside of each paw provide insulation from the frozen ground, while tufts of fur between the toes prevent snow from compacting and freezing against the skin. These specialized feet not only protect the tiger from frostbite, but also grant it remarkable traction, enabling swift, agile movement even on icy terrain. Unlike most big cats, the Amur tiger is an adept swimmer. Its large, powerful paws double as paddles, propelling it through icy rivers and across snow-melt streams, an essential skill in landscapes crisscrossed by frozen waterways. The Amur tiger's sheer size is another critical adaptation. With males reaching up to 300 kilograms, their immense body mass helps retain heat, reducing the rate at which warmth escapes into the environment. This mass is comparable to that of a polar bear, another Arctic survivor, allowing the tiger to endure long, cold nights and extended periods without food. Like the polar bear, the Amur tiger's combination of size, fur, and fat enables it to traverse vast frozen territories, swim across frigid rivers, and hunt in conditions that would defeat lesser predators. The physics of heat retention favor large animals in cold climates. The tiger's low surface area to volume ratio means it loses heat slowly, conserving energy and maintaining a stable internal temperature. Every detail of the Amur tiger's anatomy and behavior is a masterclass in adaptation. From its insulated fur and powerful limbs to its immense size and swimming prowess, this extraordinary predator is perfectly engineered to rule the frozen wilderness, an unrivaled survivor in a world of ice and snow. When we picture the world's great cats, we often imagine them stalking through grasslands or dense forests, but the tiger is unique among its kin for its extraordinary relationship with water. Unlike lions or leopards, the tiger is not only unafraid of water, it is drawn to it, displaying a confidence and strength that sets it apart from every other big cat. Tigers will often immerse themselves in rivers and streams, not just to escape the heat, but to hunt, to travel, and to claim new territory. Their affinity for water is not a mere curiosity, it is a vital adaptation, one that allows them to thrive in environments where other predators would falter, and it raises the astonishing possibility of a tiger traversing even the most daunting aquatic barriers, such as the ice-laden Bering Strait. Documented cases reveal tigers swimming for hours, covering distances that seem almost impossible for a terrestrial mammal. They will not hesitate to pursue prey into deep water, using their immense strength and agility to their advantage. Tigers are known to cross broad rivers and lakes, sometimes moving between islands or distant riverbanks to expand their range. Nowhere is this aquatic mastery more evident than in the Sundarbans, a labyrinth of tidal rivers and dense mangroves stretching across India and Bangladesh. Here, tigers have been observed swimming nearly 30 kilometers in open water, a feat that demands both stamina and an unyielding will to survive. While the tropical waters of the Sundarbans are warm, the sheer endurance required for such journeys is a testament to the tiger's physical prowess. Long-distance swimming is not an anomaly for these cats, it is a natural extension of their capabilities. Even in the frozen landscapes of the north, tigers show no reluctance to enter icy rivers. In the Russian Far East, scientists have tracked tigers as they approach rivers nearly half a kilometer wide, undeterred by the biting cold. One male tiger, monitored by telemetry, was observed calmly surveying a river whose waters hovered just above freezing. For most mammals, such conditions would be perilous, even fatal, yet the tiger entered the water without hesitation, its movements steady and assured. It swam across the frigid expanse, muscles working tirelessly against the current and cold. Upon reaching the far bank, the tiger showed no signs of distress, its body seemingly unfazed by the icy ordeal. This remarkable feat demonstrates the tiger's physiological resilience, its body engineered to withstand the shock of Arctic waters. Combined with its agility on land and in water, the tiger's adaptations paint a portrait of a truly versatile predator. Its thick, layered fur and insulating fat provide a barrier against both freezing air and icy water, preserving core body heat during long swims. These same adaptations allow the tiger to rest and recover in the harshest climates, undeterred by frost or wind. Its broad-webbed paws act as natural paddles, propelling it efficiently through water with each powerful stroke. The tiger's substantial body mass further aids in heat retention, allowing it to endure lengthy swims in even the coldest rivers. In this way, the tiger's aquatic abilities begin to rival those of the polar bear, an animal famed for its epic journeys across Arctic seas. Though not a marine mammal, the tiger is equipped with a remarkable suite of adaptations, making it one of the animal kingdom's most formidable aquatic travelers, capable of feats that continue to astonish scientists and inspire awe in all who witness them. Despite the intriguing theories and the environmental factors that seem to align, we are ultimately faced with a sobering reality. The search for wild tigers in Alaska, for all its allure, remains grounded in speculation rather than substantiated fact. As of the summer of 2026, not a single piece of irrefutable evidence has surfaced to confirm the presence of a tiger roaming these northern wilds. No official records, no credible documentation, and no government agency, from the United States Fish and Wildlife Service to the Alaska Department of Fish and Game, has ever authenticated a sighting. The legend of the Alaskan tiger persists as an enigma, woven from rumors and conjecture, lacking the foundation of tangible proof. In the realm of wildlife science, physical evidence such as clear photographs, video footage, or biological samples remains the gold standard for confirmation. Yet, no remains, no fur, no bones, and no trace of a tiger's passage have ever been recovered from these forests. No scat has been collected, analyzed, or genetically sequenced to reveal the unmistakable signature of Panthera tigris. Not a single prey animal has been discovered bearing the distinctive wounds or feeding patterns that would indicate a tiger's predation. And in an era defined by ubiquitous digital technology, not one clear, verifiable image or video has emerged from the thousands of cameras scattered across the wilderness. The only traces left behind are ambiguous, faint, indistinct tracks in the snow, easily attributed to other native wildlife or erased by the next storm. Even historical claims have proven unreliable. A widely circulated photograph from the Togiak National Wildlife Refuge in April 2017, for example, was ultimately revealed as an elaborate April Fool's hoax. Still, the absence of evidence does not equate to evidence of absence. Alaska's vastness is a formidable barrier to discovery. The sheer scale of this land, its endless forests, mountains, and tundra, renders the search for a solitary animal an almost insurmountable challenge. Alaska spans over 1.5 million square kilometers, dwarfing entire countries and making systematic wildlife monitoring a logistical impossibility in many regions. The most remote valleys and river drainages, where unverified sightings are rumored, remain largely unexplored and unobserved by humans. Roads are few, settlements are scattered, and the overwhelming majority of this territory is left to the elements and the native wildlife. In such an environment, the odds of encountering a single, elusive animal are vanishingly small, akin to searching for a needle in a haystack that stretches beyond the horizon. Monitoring infrastructure is sparse. Ranger stations and observation towers stand empty for much of the year, their reach limited by the sheer scale of the land. Unlike the heavily surveilled parks of the lower 48, western Alaska's wildest corners lack a comprehensive network of camera traps or regular scientific surveys. The scientific community's ability to detect rare or transient species here is severely limited by both geography and resources. A lone, wide-ranging predator could traverse these wilds, live out its days, and vanish without ever leaving a trace that would reach human eyes or scientific instruments. In the end, it is the immensity and isolation of Alaska itself that shrouds this mystery, making the pursuit of hard evidence a daunting, perhaps impossible endeavor. In the vast, frozen wilderness where tigers roam, the task of counting these elusive predators is a formidable scientific challenge, one that pushes the limits of modern wildlife research. Tigers are masters of concealment, blending seamlessly into their environment. Their solitary nature and immense territories mean that even the most advanced tracking methods can miss their presence entirely. In these remote regions, direct observation is nearly impossible. Researchers must rely on indirect evidence, tracks, scat, and fleeting glimpses caught by automated cameras. Even with technology, the data is fragmentary. A single camera trap might record a tiger once in weeks, or not at all, while tracks can be erased by the next snowfall. The sheer scale of the landscape means that entire populations can remain undetected, their movements hidden by the immensity of their domain. Each footprint, each broken twig is a clue in a puzzle that is never fully complete. Scientists must piece together these fragments to estimate numbers, knowing that much remains invisible. Population estimates can vary dramatically depending on the methods used and the assumptions made. The margin of error is vast, and the true number of tigers may be far higher than official figures suggest. For example, one global authority might estimate a few hundred adults, while local surveys using different techniques report numbers nearly twice as high. This discrepancy is not just a statistical curiosity. It reflects the profound difficulty of detecting animals that are designed by nature to remain unseen. The hidden portion of the population may be the most important, as these individuals are the ones most likely to explore new territories, far from the areas where scientists focus their efforts. If a tiger were to embark on a long-distance journey, the odds of it being detected are vanishingly small. The landscape itself conspires to keep such travelers hidden. The evidence left behind, a print, a tuft of fur, a fleeting image, can be erased in moments by weather, scavengers, or simply the passage of time. In such an environment, the absence of proof is not proof of absence. The wilderness is simply too immense, too complex for certainty. The challenge of counting the unseen is a reminder of nature's enduring mysteries. For every tiger we know, there may be another, hidden just beyond the reach of our senses and our science. At the threshold of Alaska's wild expanse, we find ourselves contemplating the profound mysteries that nature still holds, where the boundaries of what we know blur into the vastness of what remains undiscovered. Here, every subtle mark in the snow, every shadow beneath the trees, hints at stories unfolding beyond our sight, narratives shaped by instinct, survival, and the relentless drive of life. In distant lands, tigers roam through frozen forests, their presence a testament to nature's ability to adapt and endure in the harshest of climates. These apex predators are engineered for endurance, capable of traversing immense distances across landscapes that challenge even the hardiest of creatures. Their prowess extends to water, where they swim across frigid currents, undeterred by the cold, driven by the promise of new territory. The Bering Strait itself, with its shifting ice and scattered islands, forms a natural bridge, an ever-changing corridor that has for millennia connected worlds and allowed the passage of life. Yet, for all the logic and possibility, the land remains silent, its secrets preserved beneath layers of snow and time. No undeniable evidence emerges, no clear tracks, no remains, no genetic traces, only the quiet persistence of rumor and wonder. The snow itself erases the past, blurring the lines between fact and speculation, leaving behind only fleeting impressions. The scientific record remains blank, awaiting the kind of proof that transforms legend into reality. In the absence of certainty, skepticism is our guide, reminding us to question, to seek, and to demand evidence before belief. But to dismiss the unknown outright would be to underestimate the ingenuity of life and the unpredictable power of the wild. The chronicles of nature are filled with astonishing journeys, creatures crossing continents, colonizing new worlds, defying the odds written by climate and geography. Animals have crossed oceans atop rafts of debris, carried by currents to distant shores where new chapters begin. Birds, swept by winds, find themselves thousands of miles from home, forging new populations in places once thought unreachable. Even the smallest creatures push the boundaries of possibility, venturing into unknown realms and thriving where few would dare. Nature is a force in perpetual motion, shifting, evolving, and revealing new wonders with every passing season. The idea that a supremely adapted predator could traverse these wild frontiers is not beyond the realm of possibility. It is a challenge to our imagination and understanding. For now, the question remains, unanswered, suspended between hope and skepticism, awaiting the evidence that will tip the scales. Until the day a clear image is captured, a body is discovered, or a genetic signature is found, the legend endures, woven into the fabric of Alaska's last great wilderness. This story, whether fact or fable, stirs our curiosity and reminds us that the world still holds secrets, hidden in the silent, untraveled corners of the earth. Whether the tiger truly roams these wilds or not, the mere possibility is a tribute to the resilience of life and the boundless, unpredictable wonder of nature. A world forever capable of astonishing us just beyond the next ridge. If the tiger were to claim a foothold in Alaska, its arrival would ripple through the ecosystem in profound and unexpected ways. As an apex predator, the tiger's presence would subtly yet powerfully reshape the balance of life in these northern forests. Visualize the silent tension among the native fauna moose pausing at the edge of a frozen river, wary of new scents on the wind, wolves and bears recalibrating their territories, their ancient routines disrupted by a formidable newcomer. The tiger, an expert in stealth and ambush, would mark its domain with invisible boundaries, altering migration patterns, influencing prey populations, and driving a cascade of ecological adjustments. Prey species such as deer and elk might become more elusive, adapting their grazing habits, shifting to denser cover, or altering their calving grounds in response to the new threat. The pressure exerted by a top-tier predator would help regulate herbivore numbers, preventing overgrazing and allowing the slow recovery of undergrowth and saplings, a subtle but vital reinforcement of forest health. Meanwhile, the presence of tigers could stir competition among carnivores. Wolves, faced with a rival for prey, might hunt in larger packs or seek new hunting grounds. Bears, opportunistic and powerful, could scavenge tiger kills, forging uneasy truces or tense confrontations on the snowy tundra. Even the scavengers, foxes, eagles, ravens, would find new opportunities in the remains left behind, their survival intricately linked to the tiger's success. With every paw print pressed into the snow, the tiger would become a silent architect of the wilderness, its influence radiating outward, shaping the very fabric of the ecosystem. Yet such changes would unfold quietly over many seasons, visible only through careful observation and patient study. The true impact of the tiger's presence would be written not in headlines, but in the subtle shifts of the land, the resurgence of native plants, the wary behavior of prey, the evolving strategies of fellow predators. In this imagined future, Alaska's wild heart would beat to a new rhythm, one shaped by the arrival of an ancient power and the delicate ongoing dance of adaptation that defines every living landscape. The ecosystem, ever dynamic, would prove once more its capacity to absorb, respond, and ultimately thrive in the face of change. As winter tightens its grip on the Alaskan wilderness, only the most resilient survive. The tiger, sculpted by millennia in the harsh Siberian taiga, brings an arsenal of adaptations to this frozen frontier. Its dense, double-layered coat, longer and thicker than any other big cat's, traps precious warmth close to the skin, each stripe a camouflage against the snow-dusted pines. Beneath the fur, a thick layer of subcutaneous fat insulates vital organs, sustaining the tiger through weeks of scarce prey and plummeting temperatures. With paws broad and padded, the tiger traverses deep snow almost silently, spreading its weight to avoid sinking, each step calculated, each movement conserving energy. In the coldest months, their metabolism slows, allowing them to endure long stretches between meals. Tigers hunt with patience and precision, timing their ambushes for dusk or dawn, when prey is most vulnerable and the cold lessens the advantage of flight. To quench their thirst, tigers break through ice with powerful forelimbs, accessing the frigid waters below. They scent-mark trails and hunting grounds, their markings enduring even as snow falls anew. In bitter winds they shelter in dense thickets or hollowed logs, shielded from the elements by nature's architecture. Every aspect of the tiger's behavior, its solitary patrols, its choice of den, its measured use of energy, reflects a mastery of the cold. In this land of endless frost, survival is an art, and the tiger is its consummate practitioner. The Arctic may be unforgiving, but for this apex predator, it is a challenge met with silent strength and ancient skill. Beneath the frozen canopy of Alaska's boreal forests, the arrival of tigers ripples through the intricate web of life. Here, every creature, predator and prey alike, plays a role in a delicate ecological balance. The tiger, a newcomer to this northern stage, steps into a complex hierarchy shaped by centuries of survival. Moose, elk, and caribou, the region's largest herbivores, become prime targets. The tiger's stealth and strength allow it to stalk these giants, exploiting the cover of snow-laden evergreens. Each successful hunt leaves behind more than a meal. Scavengers like ravens, foxes, and wolverines follow in the tiger's wake, feasting on remnants and scattering nutrients across the forest floor. Yet the tiger is not the only predator. Wolves, long the apex hunters of Alaska, now find themselves in competition. Packs trail the edges of the tiger's territory, their howls echoing through the night. Occasionally, paths cross. An uneasy truce forms, tested by hunger and opportunity. Even the solitary lynx, master of stealth, must navigate a new world where the scent of tiger lingers in the wind. Small mammals, sensing the shift in predatory pressure, alter their routines. Snowshoe hares dart under denser cover, voles burrow deeper, and birds of prey recalibrate their hunting grounds. The tiger's presence resonates outward, triggering subtle changes in behavior, migration, and population dynamics. In this evolving ecosystem, the tiger is both hunter and catalyst, a force that reshapes the food chain from the top down. With every silent step, it weaves itself into the story of Alaska's wild, forging new relationships and redefining the balance of power in a land where survival depends on constant adaptation. In the vast, snow-blanketed wilderness of Alaska, finding a tiger is like searching for a shadow in a world of white. Scientists tasked with unraveling the mystery of these elusive predators rely on an arsenal of cutting-edge techniques. The process begins with camera traps, weatherproof, motion-activated lenses camouflaged against trees and rocks. Each time a tiger pads silently past, the camera records a fleeting glimpse, time-stamped and geotagged, adding precious data to a growing digital mosaic. But when tracks vanish beneath fresh snowfall, researchers turn to genetic clues. Collecting scat samples along remote game trails, they extract DNA to identify individual tigers, estimate population size, and even trace familial relationships. Each strand of genetic material tells a story of where a tiger has been, what it has eaten, and how it's connected to others roaming the wild expanse. Satellite telemetry offers a bird's-eye view. Lightweight GPS collars, designed to withstand the rigors of the Arctic, transmit real-time coordinates. From a command center miles away, scientists watch animated dots traverse the landscape, mapping territorial boundaries, migration corridors, and preferred hunting grounds. This data reveals not only where tigers go, but how they adapt to the unforgiving cold, the rhythm of prey movement, and the encroachment of rivals. Acoustic monitoring adds another layer. Hidden microphones capture the low-frequency growls and chuffing calls that tigers use to communicate across vast distances. By analyzing these recordings, researchers can estimate presence, territory size, and even the number of individuals in a given area, all without a single direct sighting. Each method, from the silent snap of a camera to the digital ping of a collar, brings scientists closer to understanding these enigmatic hunters. Piece by piece, the puzzle of the Alaskan tiger's existence comes into focus, illuminating the secret life of a predator that moves like a ghost through the northern wilds. Across the endless twilight of the Arctic, stories drift on the wind, echoes of the wild woven by generations who have called these frozen lands home. Long before scientists set camera traps or tracked GPS signals, the indigenous peoples of Siberia and Alaska spun tales of a great striped shadow that haunted the boreal forests and icy tundra. In the oral traditions of the Evenki and Chukchi, the tiger is more than a predator. It is a spirit, a guardian, and sometimes a harbinger. They speak of Amber, the silent one who moves between worlds, its breath stirring the northern lights, its eyes gleaming like twin moons in the polar night. Hunters share accounts of paw prints appearing overnight, impossibly large, and vanishing into nothingness, as if the earth itself swallowed the beast. Some legends tell of the ice stripes, tigers with fur as pale as winter fog, said to walk unseen, guiding lost souls through blizzards or warning villages of impending peril. Elders recall stories passed down by their ancestors of a tiger's roar echoing across a frozen valley, followed by a sudden abundance of caribou, or the unexpected thaw of a river, both seen as gifts or omens. Even modern tales persist. Fishermen whisper of fleeting shapes reflected in icy waters, while trappers claim to have glimpsed golden eyes watching from the edge of the taiga. These myths, rooted in awe and respect, blur the boundaries between reality and imagination, shaping the way people view the land and its hidden inhabitants. In every story, the Arctic tiger remains an enigma, part phantom, part protector, always just beyond the reach of certainty. As science uncovers new truths, these ancient legends linger, reminding us that the wild still holds mysteries no technology can fully explain. As the northern sun arcs low over Alaska's horizon, the question lingers: what lies ahead for tigers in this harsh, evolving wilderness? Today, the possibility of resident tigers prowling Alaskan forests remains unproven, a tantalizing blend of scientific intrigue and local legend. Yet the forces shaping the future are already in motion. Climate change steadily redraws the Arctic's boundaries. As permafrost recedes and boreal forests creep northward, habitats once too cold or barren for large predators are gradually becoming more hospitable. Prey species like moose, caribou, and deer are expanding their ranges, creating the ecological foundation that apex hunters require. For the Amur tiger, renowned for its resilience and adaptability, these shifting landscapes could one day offer new opportunities if corridors remain open and prey populations thrive. Conservationists and wildlife biologists are watching closely. International collaborations between Russian and North American agencies have begun to explore the genetic health and migratory potential of Far Eastern tiger populations. Strategies such as rewilding, habitat connectivity, and anti-poaching enforcement are being discussed, not as dreams but as contingency plans, should tigers ever cross the Bering Strait or be considered for reintroduction. Yet formidable challenges remain. Alaska's ecosystems are delicate, shaped by millennia of balance between native predators like wolves and bears and their prey. The introduction, or natural arrival, of a new apex predator would send ripples through these food webs, with consequences impossible to fully predict. There are also practical barriers: the vast distances, the frigid winters, and the need for sustained genetic diversity in any pioneering population. Still, the future is not written in stone. By combining traditional ecological knowledge, cutting-edge science, and vigilant stewardship, humanity may one day witness the return of the tiger to the land bridge that once connected continents. Whether as a living reality or a powerful symbol, the prospect of tigers in Alaska stands as a testament to nature's enduring capacity for change, resilience, and awe. In the end, the story of the Arctic tiger remains unfinished. a narrative shaped by climate, conservation, and the enduring mystery of the wild.